Good morning. Welcome. So this is pop-up live Dharma radio on a Saturday morning. Sharing with you some Dhamma, meditating together. Taking you on a journey this morning. So we're going to start the show with something new. Working on the idea of mixing live the Dhamma to music, taking you on a journey deep inside yourself to that quiet place of rest, and then lifting you up for the weekend ahead. So just sit back for the next 45 minutes. Get yourself settled somewhere to chill. Or if you're doing your thing, just let it play in the background. Enjoy your own way. All right. So let's relax together, tune in. Use this next 45 minutes to let go the stress and worries and preoccupations and distractions from the week. Set yourself up for the weekend.
it's quite a deep realization to recognize that there is this love that is actually the ground of our being. The experience of it brings us into this state of love. That's quite life-affirming. You know, one of the sort of existential fears that we sort of might have is the idea that letting go brings us to a state of annihilation. You know, the Buddha's teaching us that life is suffering. We go, well, really? But what he's saying is, it's not that it's innately suffering. He's saying that we turn it into suffering. We develop our relationship to this heart essence. We start to recognize that this unified state of awareness that is absolutely ever, this clear light is pervasive, it's everywhere, it's endless. And it's also the very ground of our own heart. It sort of starts to break down this fear of letting go. And that changes everything. When you touch that basic ground and you realize just how profoundly sacred it is and how taintless it is and how everything arises perfectly within it, a sort of devotional attitude starts to develop within us, which calls us there genuinely is a flavor of liberation and release and love in the process of letting go. But it's when you start to see into the Dharma, experience into it, taste it, see it come alive within you, understand that life is the Dharma, and start to recognize that suffering that the Buddha is telling us isn't the actual nature of things. But it's when you start to see into the Dharma, experience into it. You know, once you've let go, the fact that everything is impermanence is a constant reminder that it's all right to have let go, so that you can dance in every moment. And as you tune in, there is a sense that everything is resting effortlessly within itself in this state of perfection. And slowly we come to this realization that there isn't a hair out of place. And we start to touch this profound intelligence that's just reflecting itself absolutely perfectly, a pure reflection of the conditions behind it. There isn't any conflict, even when it's falling apart in a state of absolute turmoil. It's falling apart as a perfect reflection of conditions. And that the universe is never in conflict. And if you don't want it to be suffering, You can't just hope for that suffering to go away. You have to stop sowing the seeds of suffering. And if you want it to be love, and if you want it to be peaceful and joyful and beautiful, you've got to sow beautiful seeds. You don't get sweet fruit from a bitter lemon tree. So if you want it to change, you have to change the seeds that you put in the ground and the way in which you tend to them, and that's karma. Because you're not looking at a world or a universe that behaves in this way over here and in this way over here. You're looking at a single, seamless process of coming into being endlessly. We call it the mother and daughter clear light. That pervasive, unfathomably still clear light that's everywhere, that everything is arising out of, is exactly the same clear light in the deepest part of your heart that every aspect of you is arising out of. And slowly we come to the experience, not some deep philosophical view. We see that everything is arising out of the same basic ground. This pure state of consciousness, pure intelligence. And that everything is arising seamlessly out of the same unified state. So there isn't any separation between you and me. So here we are, just popping into being out of this same basic space, one single process. And I'm experiencing it over here as me, having a very personal experience of an impersonal process. The problem is that we take it so personally when it's not. Don't take it personally. And it's not until your mind fades away and you emerge into that state of pure awareness that you find yourself seamlessly woven into the very experience that you've spent your life and time looking out at. And that's what we mean when we say to wake up. You wake up out of the sense of separation and the fixation on the idea of it's me, into the experience of unity, unification and connection, and to the sense and the experience that it's all one thing. And somewhere in the middle of it is me. Wow. So, whether you are in your own hopes and dreams, sort of making your way or towards that return journey, or whether you are still in your dance, understand how careful you have to be to dance in such a way that you don't come to suffering. Buddha wasn't being negative. He was just aware of how prone we are to bring ourselves to suffering, which is why he taught the path out of suffering. This is we've got to work out for ourselves. This is our own journey. How much suffering are you willing to forbear to uphold your attachment to your idea of yourself? How much are you willing to let go what is harmful to bring your consciousness to what it's capable of being. Let's do our meditation. So when I say relax back into your body, it's not a command you give yourself from your mind. You bring your awareness into the body to feel through your body the degree to which you are relaxed or not. And recognizing where there is a gripping or contracting or tensing quality in your body, just try to relax into it and encourage your body to yield and settle. Working towards coming to a state of just resting dead weight upon the floor. Feel as though you were a sack of rice. When it's placed upon the floor, it just settles naturally into its own space. Feel that quality of settling naturally within you. The awareness that knows the body is already in the body. It's not something you generate in your mind and direct from your head down into your body. When I say feel your hands resting in your lap, the awareness that feels them is already in the hands. All you need to do is bring attention. You're not directing intention from your head like some illuminating spotlight that's trying to concentrate upon your hands. Just feel your hands resting in your lap. Feel the degree to which they are tense or relaxed. Bring your attention to a state of rest. The mind is constantly flitting around. Awareness is in a state of rest, like a mirror. It is not disturbed by that which it reflects. Your attention moves around. But when you rest your attention, bring it to a total state of rest. feel your hands. Come to a state of rest upon the feeling within your hands. Letting your body settle into its own space. Your sense of physical presence emerges gradually as you withdraw from the abstract state of your mind into the genuine state of physical presence, mountain-like presence. Relax into it. If you're holding tension or you recognize tension, you can use your out-breath to gently release your nerves. Take a gentle in-breath and a gentle sigh out. And let go all the gripping quality of your mind. Relax your mind. Leave everything as it is. Just rest within awareness. Leave the sense of your physical presence, the shape and form of your body as you sit, to just appear within awareness, as if within a mirror. There is nothing to add. Relax your heart. Feel the area of your heart slightly to the left of center of your chest. Again, recognizing where it is disturbed or unsettled, and leaving it to settle naturally, like water. When you stop adding to your experience with your mind, stop adding your ideas, adding your story, adding your commentary, and adding your reaction, your heart settles like water and becomes mirror-like and starts to reflect perfectly and undistortedly the experience you are actually having. Try to be undisturbed, even when you feel disturbance within you. Settle naturally. allowing your body to settle dead weight into your posture, like a sack of rice. Settle naturally. Allowing the layers of tension to gradually release. Relax into your posture. Let go the gripping quality of your mind, the grasping at the experience, watching the experience, commentating on the experience, reacting to it. Leave everything alone. Let your mind relax and disengage. Rest in awareness itself. Mirror-like quality of awareness. Leave everything to come and go. Try to not drift off into your story. Stay in the nakedness of the experience, the stillness of the room, your presence within it, your heart settling as you stop disturbing yourself with your mind. Meditate with the attitude of letting go into the experience itself. Let your heart relax gradually. Your attitude is of coming to a state of rest within yourself. There is nothing to add. if you don't anchor your attention to the experience itself, without grasping, settle your attention within the experience. Then as you let go the gripping of your mind, you will drop into a calm but peaceful trance. And you will lose your sense of presence. At this stage, don't worry. It is a sign that you are letting go the gripping of your mind. But you will not remain present if you cannot sustain your attention upon the experience itself. So we settle our attention upon one or other of the aspects of the experience that are spontaneously present within it, that are innate. Your body is physically present within the space you are in. You are settled and relaxed, or to a degree tense. Your heart is calm and settled, or it is to a degree disturbed. And the room around you is still, whether you recognize it or not. These aspects are innate within the experience. They're not produced within your mind. You do not need your mind to know them. You only need awareness. So we settle our attention upon the quality of the experience itself, as it is naturally, and rest with it, without adding with the mind, without taking with the mind. A sense of spontaneous presence emerges within the mirror-like quality of awareness. Feel your whole body as one, and relax through your whole body. Try to let go the grasping quality of your mind, the contracting quality of your mind that causes your body to tense. Feel from your heart with gentleness. Sukhino va kemino hontu sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings be happy and peaceful. May I be happy and peaceful. no ake mino hontu sabe satta bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Breathe in and relax. I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of experimental live mixing of music, discourse, and meditation. So ease yourself out of your meditation if that's what you've been doing. Let's have some music.
Smoke on the horizon.
Right, so good morning, everyone. If you are just joining, we just did a guided session of music, discourse, and meditation together. A little journey for Saturday morning, hopefully connecting you back to the ground of your being. So, do you feel connected to yourself? How are you feeling on this Saturday morning? Welcome those of you who maybe joined our workshop last weekend. We've been looking at anxiety recently. It feels it's an important topic to spend some time investigating, and we've spent a little bit of time and energy exploring how we can get on top of anxiety if we are unfortunate enough to experience that or be prone to it from time to time. So let me know how you're getting on. If you have been working at that this week since the retreat, since our workshop, did you find the tools that I introduced you to, are you finding them helpful? How are you getting on? Let me know. You know, it's a totally understandable response that we might be feeling more anxiety than normal. And so it seems appropriate that we look or do an inventory on our anxiety and check in with it rather than just let it run in the background and just get used to anxiety. You know, we don't need to be anxious as much as we are. There are things that are a worry to us, I'm sure. But to fall into a habitual state of anxiety, that is very debilitating. So very much the theme of what I've been trying to encourage you all to explore in this last 10 days or so is the idea of actually allowing yourself to be a more relaxed person in general. You know, it's incredible when I ask around how few people really do feel that they are able to relax deeply. We look for ways of switching off, but don't necessarily get into a deeply relaxed and deeply settled state. And you know, many of you, even with your meditation, are only getting a kind of a break from yourself, but not getting into a deeply, deeply chilled space because it's not your habit to be relaxed. So I am really encouraging you to invest time and energy into being more relaxed. And it's not as obvious as we might think. You know, you maybe have already looked for things that help you to relax and tried them all. Chill out music, a bit of therapy here and there. All the classic things that we might do, like we try yoga, we've done our meditation, we try hypnotherapy, all these kind of things, but we haven't actually made an agreement with ourselves to become a fundamentally relaxed person. We're basically a stressed, anxious, worried person trying to relax, which of course means we only get marginal success. You know, it's really important to rewrite your narrative. If you have a highly involved storyline around the idea of being anxious. So, you know, maybe you weren't on the workshop last week, but ask yourself, do I actually know how to relax? Do I? Do I know actually how to switch off? Am I able to drop the things that worry me? And when we look at what we spend the most time worrying about, goodness me, most often it's ourselves, isn't it? We're worried about ourselves. I don't know. I find that whole thing extremely vexing and exhausting. So what do we do if we are a self-worrier, a serial self-worrier? We have to find a greater trust in the power of life and start gradually to let go this crippling need to feel in control of everything the whole time, because we're just not. So come on, folks, get a little bit of that Balu quality. You've all seen The Jungle Book. Learn to chill out a bit more, not take life so seriously. Because I think it's taking life so seriously that gets us into such a muddle. So, anyway, there we go. We are, by nature, far more worried than we should be, far more anxious than we should be. We don't spot the gap to relax in when we actually have the opportunity. So, anyway, here's old Balu. Take a little bit from his book and chill out.
For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be found off my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. When you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants, then maybe try a few. The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. Look for the bare necessities. I mean the bare necessities. That's why a bear can rest at ease with just the bare necessities of life. Now when you pick a pawpaw or a prickly pear and you prick a raw paw, well, next time beware. Don't pick the prickly pear by the paw. When you pick a pear, try to use the claw. But you don't need to use the claw when you pick a pear of the big pawpaw. Have I given you a clue? The bare necessities of life will come to you. They'll come to you. This is really living. So just try and relax. Yeah, cool it. Fall apart in my backyard. Because let me tell you something, little britches. If you act like that bee acts, you're working too hard. And don't spend your time looking around for something you want that can't be found. When you find out you can live without it and go along not thinking about it, I'll tell you something true. The bare necessities of life will come to you.
Yeah. He's got it about right, hasn't he? Don't sweat the small stuff. Check out the bare necessities. Make sure you're taking care of them. And don't worry about the rest of it. Don't sweat the small stuff, folks. You know, how many of you find yourselves worrying about things that actually, if you really had a look, don't need to be there, don't need to be in your life, or aren't as really important to you?
I'll give a little bit of my love to you. There's so much that we need to share, so send a smile and show you care. All right. I'll give a little bit, I'll give a little bit of my life for you. Give a little bit, or give a little bit of your time to me. See the man with the lonely eyes, oh take his hand, you'll be surprised. Oh, take it. that we know will be. I will stay with you. Will you stay with me? Just one single tear in each passing year. With the dawn, oh, I see so very clearly now. All my fears are drifting by me so slowly now, fading away. I can see the night is long, but you are here. Close a hand, oh, I'm better for the smile you give. And while I live, I will follow you. Will you follow me? All the days and nights that we know will be. I will stay with you. Will you stay with me? Just one single tear in each passing year there will be. I will follow you. Will you follow me? All the days and nights that we know will be. I will stay with you. Will you stay with me? Just one single tear in each passing year. I will follow you. Will you follow me? All the days and nights that no will be. I will stay with you. Will you stay with me? Just one single tear in each passing year.
So, what are the things? Let us know. What are your go-to little tricks when you need to switch off? Obviously, don't say meditation because I guess you're into meditation. But, you know, sometimes meditation doesn't work for us, does it? Sometimes we're a little bit too scattered and we sit down to meditate. We find we're just frustrated by sitting there trying. So come on, let us know what you use. What's worked for you when you've got to switch off or dial down the stress levels? What are the things that you found have actually reduced your level of anxiety and brought you back into a more calm or settled state? Because it's important, isn't it, that we know that when we are experiencing anxiety, that we can get ourselves or back ourselves out of it. Or are you the sort of person that doesn't notice it happening to you and tightens it up and ratchets up the stress levels until you can barely breathe and finds yourself every now and then in a crisis situation where you're completely overwhelmed? Yes, Maoli, music, of course. You know, I don't think we use music the way we used to. I know I don't know, but I don't see so many people, and I don't tend to do it the way I used to. Do you remember the days of sitting down and listening through a whole album of music and get really lost in it, really following the journey that the musician was taking you on? Nowadays we have music in our background quite often without necessarily getting absorbed in it, in which case it's only another distraction, but it's not reprogramming us. In order to dial out of stress, we have to actually give our attention completely to something that isn't stressing us. Now, music is extremely helpful, but to just use it in the background is only going half the way. It's company, it's in a way comforting to have a bit of music if you're feeling a little bit raw. But to actually sit down and become really absorbed in music, piece of music that you love and really give yourself over it can be enough to switch you out of that tangled, tense knot of anxiety into a more settled state. Of course, yes, being in nature has an amazing effect on us, but the same thing applies there. If you're really, really distracted and stressed and you go for that walk that you normally go for, but your whole way you're chewing on your thoughts, or even maybe you're playing with your phone, you go to nature, you take that walk, but you stayed wrapped up in yourself. You haven't made the connection to that bigger picture around you. And so you haven't made the transition out of that self-focused, worried state. It's easy to have a walk, isn't it? For half an hour, walk through a beautiful wood and get to the other side, and we didn't notice anything. Why? Because even whilst we're out in nature, even while we're walking, we're doing the thing we know we enjoy, we stayed focused and absorbed with ourselves. And so we're still stressed at the end of it. So try to reflect upon this. The key to backing ourselves out of an anxious state is to give ourselves wholeheartedly to something else. And it doesn't actually matter really what it is. If you're going to walk on the beach or walk in nature, then you have to turn up for it. Or you take your anxiety for a walk and it's still with you at the end. You have to walk yourself out of your anxious state into a state where you feel connected to what's going on around you. So all of these things that we might normally turn to, like music or reading a book or going for a walk in nature, they only work when we surrender to them and become completely absorbed. So remember that next time. If you find yourself doing the thing that you normally do to get yourself out of a funk, ask yourself, well, that's because I haven't completely surrendered myself to it yet. How many of you are always preoccupied about time, or if it's not time, a sense that you don't have enough time or that you're in a rush? You know, I think our relationship with time has a really big, or is a really big factor in the degree to which we experience anxiety. You know, it quite often is the case that we simply give ourselves too many things to do, and then we're anxious about the fact that we don't feel we got enough time. We're rushed. Being rushed is an insipid cause for stress and anxiety. You know, I've been practicing recently asking much less of myself of a day. So I've given myself less to do. I set my sights less high so that I'm able to really, really open up and enjoy the doing of every little thing in my day. And make sure that there's a little bit of space between one thing that you're planning to do and another. Now, I used to be terrible at this. I got this from my father, you know, when I was growing up. My mother is this sort of woman who would always be ready long before it was time to leave. She's so well organized and sit quietly. So she would be very relaxed on, say that they've got an appointment to go to. And my father would just muddle himself out of the door absolutely at the last moment. So, of course, my mother becomes stressed about the fact that they might be late on account of him. And he didn't seem to worry at all about the fact that they might be late. But, of course, somewhere inside, it is vexing to sort of get yourself to do things right at the last minute. I always used to go to the airport at the absolute last minute and just about get on the plane before the boarding closed on the you know, because I just don't like being at airports. But I realized that that's a terrible state to be in, because you're worried about whether the taxi's going to get to the airport on time. You're worried about if you're going to get through check-in before it closes. You're worried about whether you're going to get to the gate. And then you get on the airplane, you're utterly exhausted. So I completely changed that. I changed my habit of doing things at the last minute, and it did make a really big difference. And I did notice, actually, it's a relief. I don't like hanging around at an airport any more than you do, but to make sure that you've got time so that you're never thinking about whether you're going to be late or going to miss something. You know, how many trains have I missed in my life by turning up at the last minute and the railway crossing was down or something like that, or there was too many people queuing for the ticket. So, I don't know, I've changed my attitude towards time. My mother was going on at me about it for years and years and years, saying, why don't you give yourself more time? And I was on the other end of the spectrum saying, because, you know, I just don't want to sit around faffing about waiting for things to happen. But you know what? She was right, but for one thing. What was the bit she wasn't right about? Mum, you might even be listening, but, you know, she might have been right about giving herself enough time, but it might have been on account about worrying too much about being late. So, you know, it's all about getting the balance right, isn't it? But generally, you know, I think this last, I don't know, let me work this out. I would say probably since leaving England, I guess, I've started to embrace the idea of giving much more time to getting things done. And you know what you find out? You get a lot more done by giving everything more time. So, you know, stress or anxiety or putting yourself under pressure is always counterproductive. But the other thing is, you know, we should ask ourselves this question: why do we think that we always have to be asking the most out of ourselves? Does asking the most out of ourselves and sort of striving for the most equal the most rewarding and satisfying experience? You know, I really don't think it does. I see those people who are, charging around, always doing something, and it even appears to be really exciting. But I've watched them when they're doing those things, and they're never really settled. You know, I met up with some friends in Ibiza a few months ago. And, you know, these are the sort of jet set types who are always sort of moving around from one place to the other. And when they get there, they've got the most incredible setup, beautiful villa, you know, nice booking at restaurant, nice booking at a table reserved at a beach club, nice place on the beach to go, plans for dinner, plans for nighttime. But, you know, I joined them for lunch one time and I sat with them and I realized that they'd never really arrived. And they were gone before they'd even arrived, off to the next thing. And all these extraordinary things that they had planned, they'd packed so much into their agenda that they never stopped and gave themselves completely to what was there. So there they are on the beach, this fantastic beach, this beautiful restaurant, amazing food. And they can't even sit still. They're up and down, they're on the phone, they're talking to the waiter, they're planning, you know, someone to get them to the next place. And it's like, goodness me. You know, so all these amazing things, if you have too many things you're trying to do, you might find that these amazing things that should be the absolute peak of your day or your week, they come and go, and you don't even really appreciate them. So I even as a meditation teacher, I'm willing to admit that, and I see this also as a habit, that, you know, meditation isn't going to get you out of a funk every single time. And also, I recognize that there is a type of person who sees that, well, because I have my meditation sort of scheduled in my life, my 20 minutes of meditation a day, I can make the rest of my day supercharged, knowing that I'm going to sit down and chill just for that 20 minutes. You know, that's not enough, folks. It would be better that you gave yourself more time and didn't bother meditating, so that you weren't so vexed when you did come to sit and meditate. So, you know, are you the sort of person whose calendar is full, who all day long, every single day, knows what you're doing, who's dashing around from one thing to another? Well, you know, I know these habit patterns are not easy to break, but by making this reflection, looking in and saying, well, is this one of the things that means that I don't feel as at peace with myself as I should? And asking yourself whether you could feel more relaxed, then maybe you might start to reassess things. But then, of course, we find that when we do have a little bit of space, if we are a restless person, if we are a hyper person, we don't know what to do with ourselves when we've got a bit of empty space. And of course, that's another thing entirely, learning how to be with ourselves in a quiet moment. And how many people don't even know how to do that? Well, I don't know. We're a funny old bunch, aren't we, really?
We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was one as we sail into the mystic. Hark now, hear the sailors cry, smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. And where that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. Yeah, when the foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't have to fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And magnificently we will fold into the mistake. When that foghorn blows, you know I will be coming home. And when that foghorn whistle blows, I gotta hear it. I don't have to fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will fold into the mistake. Come on, girl. Too late to stop now.
I've just noticed that we've got 3,990 odd subscribers. How wonderful is that? So if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, why don't you do that now? Because you might help us just tip the 4,000 mark, and that would be a major milestone. So, yeah. Are you subscribed if you enjoy these shows, or if you tune in regularly to us but you're not subscribed to the channel? Then perhaps you might want to do that and be the 4,000th person. But not only that, at least you'll then not miss out on these shows, because I don't always give a lot of warning. I decided to come on this morning at 9:30, and by 10 o'clock we were live, and so I dare say lots of people didn't even know this was happening. But if you subscribe, you'll get a little ding. It'll come up on your YouTube alerts, and then you'll know, okay, Burgs is live. Should that be of any interest to you? All right, now I can't stay long today because while we were doing our meditation earlier, we got a little knock on the door here saying, actually, I'm going to tell you that we have to move out. I thought we were moving out tomorrow, but we're moving out today. So I got to get packed up and move on. That's the life of a nomad. But obviously, I'll be back with you as soon as we're resettled. We've got our anxiety clinic next Wednesday. For those of you who want to do a little bit of, I don't know, what should we say? Group healing. So that's at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And I'm going to slip in another Dharma at bedtime session soon. I'm working on that, the follow on from the last one. So, we'll be cropping up here and there, not necessarily with much warning. So why don't you subscribe, and then you'll never miss out if you're one of those people who doesn't like to.
my papa's son wandering out a smoking gun. Now some of you would live through me, then lock me up and throw away the key. Or just find a place to hide away and hope that I'll just go away. Did I feel alright? I feel alright tonight. I feel alright. I feel alright tonight. And I bring you precious contraband and ancient tales from distant lands. Conquerors and concubines and conjurers from darker times. Betrayal and conspiracy, sacrilege and heresy. And I feel alright. I feel alright tonight. I feel alright. I feel alright tonight. Dream. I ask you questions, tell you lies, criticize and sympathize. Yeah, but be careful what you wish for, friend, 'cause I've been to hell and now I'm back again. I feel alright. Yeah, I feel alright tonight. Yeah, I feel alright. I feel alright tonight. I feel alright. Feel alright.
But yeah, I gotta move on. You know, that's the life of a wandering wayfarer. You've always got to move on somewhere. So backing up and heading on down the road. But then catch up with you again soon somewhere. Yeah, and looking forward to it. So have a beautiful weekend. Look after yourselves.